Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so thrilled to be kicking off our conversation with Michaela Budde here from TripleTen. My name is Katie Bryden. I am the community director here at GDI. And I know that we've had a lot of amazing conversations these past few days with folks that have shared their experience in everything from how to do, UX to how to start your own business. And now we're having a lot of discussions on how to start up a company and also where you get started with that. And a lot of that comes from the Bootcamp Life. And that's what we're here to talk with Michaela about today. Michaela Budde is a full stack a software engineer student with TripleTen. She is set to graduate in December this year. She transitioned from from being an elementary school teacher. She hopes to work in the social justice nonprofit sector. And because tech has such a huge impact on our lives, making it all that more important that there is diversity and equity in the field is why she got involved in tech in the first place, why she's at TripleTen, what she's going to talk to us about here today. And really, she hopes to inspire other queer people of color to enter the field of tech. So thank you so much, Michaela, for being here today, for being part of this conversation. I want to start off with the basics with you, just really trying to understand. At GDI, we've had several individuals that were teachers that have moved into technology. And I've heard so many different reasons as to why that happens or how that happens. Can you tell us your experience? Like, how happen for you?
Yeah, I can. So I'm laughing just because I know there's sadly a mass exodus of teachers in the United States. Teachers are unfortunately very underpaid, even though we too have to get, not only a degree, but also a master's degree often. So there's very little payoff, unfortunately, besides the children. The children were beautiful and I loved working with the kids. But also children are quite exhausting. So I burnt out. It was my first year teaching. I graduated in 2020, got into education, and then just somehow ended up being a teacher.
Whew, that's a lot. That's a year. That's a year to join this classroom.
Exactly. It was too much. So yeah, ultimately, last year I burnt out pretty quickly from the job and I wanted to start thinking about a different career. And for me, a big influence was in fact my partner, who is a software engineer. And, I would wake up every morning at 7, go to work, come back exhausted. They, on the other hand,
still on the couch.
Yeah, that's what stayed home and worked. So I was clearly just very envious of the lifestyle that came with the job description. So that was a big factor for me.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes, I think a lot of people resonate with that. We have so many folks as a part of GDI, and especially here in our hackathon that maybe aren't even members that are here because making that shift and having that flexibility with a payoff is really enticing. So you obviously chose the path of TripleTen. Can you tell us about TripleTen and why that works for you?
Yeah. So I did start doing my research, and the idea of boot camps was very new to me. So, I just thought I don't want to get scammed online by some program that's, not going to be effective. So I found just kind of a write-up of the best, most influential, or sorry, I'm lacking the word, like just the best boot camps out there. So there's a list, and most of them cost a lot of money. And
I think everyone's like, I've seen that list. Yeah.
Lots of money. I was like, I just graduated college. My goal with making a career change was one that wouldn't be, like becoming a doctor, going back to school for 4 more years or something. I wanted it to be a quick transition and also not put me in debt. So TripleTen happened to be the cheapest and also most reputable on that list. And I pretty much just didn't look into any other bootcamp after that. I talked to someone from TripleTen, and I just felt like I automatically got like a very welcoming and friendly environment from the bootcamp. And I'm really happy that I did go with it, and I can code now. So it's been effective.
Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Tell us about what the boot camp's like.
Yeah, so TripleTen is completely asynchronous. So there's no classes that you have to attend. You enter into for software engineering, it's a total of 15 sprints. So you enter into the sprint, and it starts with theory. You're learning through sometimes videos, reading, and then also practice. So you're coding, learning the concepts, then coding it. Once you're finished with the theory, then you have a project. So in total, I'll be completing actually 16 projects. There's a final project at the end of the 15. So each project it's definitely, for me, the best way that I learn. I'm learning, I'm obtaining the information. However, it's the practice that gets me the most, like the richest learning for me is in the project when I actually get to apply what I've learned. So yeah, that's the structure of the learning. And then
how long is a sprint?
Yeah, so a sprint is about 2.5 weeks to 3 weeks. Okay. That's the designated time. I tend to take longer.
Yeah, and you can take longer if you need to.
Exactly. Yeah, it's all very flexible. You can ask for extensions on your due dates. They have the due dates just there to for you to understand kind of what you need to do to finish the program in 10 months. For me, I'll be finishing in a year. So it's going to take me an extra 2 months, but not bad. I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, exactly. Do a lot of people participate in TripleTen while working, or is it an intensive, like it's too hard to juggle?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a lot harder. When I was working and doing TripleTen, it was obviously a lot harder. I had less time and I was more exhausted. So now I'm just focusing on TripleTen. That said, I was able to do it and I was able to make progress. And I know most people are working other jobs while they're in the program. And they require about 15 to 20 hours a week to stay on track.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be, yeah. I'm just trying to do the math there.
Yeah.
But people are amazing, especially our group of participants. They inspire me every day with the amount of time they can squish into 24 hours that I can't. So
yeah, it definitely takes some discipline. And I think for me, I learned to just it's better to work for 20 minutes or a half hour than to not work at all in a day. So sometimes you spread it out a little bit more and just kind of take breaks because it's a lot of information to obtain.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me, do you know a lot of people that have done TripleTen before?
I mean, prior to being in the program, no, but at this point, I do know several graduates who are employed.
And what does that look like? What's that like? Is there a really wide range of people that are taking all sorts of different sort of areas of focus and getting jobs, or is it sort of centered enough that everybody goes in and comes out with the same knowledge and goal of where to be hired?
Yeah, so I would say there's a huge variety, and that's part of why I love this course of becoming a software engineer, because pretty much any business you can think of needs software engineers, right? Almost every business or nonprofit or so many examples of institutions that need software engineers. So whatever it is that for me, my background is in education, so and also in social justice. So those are my where I'm going to head. I'm going to be interested in nonprofits or maybe education-based apps or websites. So I think that's great. And I think everyone that comes into the program, we get the skills, we get the hard skills, and then we go out and continue towards the interest that we have. So some people are more interested in marketing, some people are more interested in finance, but wherever you go, you can find a software engineer role.
Yeah. Are there supports for that transition?
Yes, it's a great support system. So I believe at some point towards the middle of the program, you start getting career training along with the software engineer training. So you're learning, all the things you can think of, resumes, networking, all of those things. They're giving you tips and giving you homework so that you're simultaneously learning the skills and, simultaneously working to get your career after. And by the way, TripleTen has 80% of their students are employed within 6 months of graduating. So we have a pretty
Yeah, that's awesome, especially in such a hard field to
Mhm.
be able to transfer all of those skills that you have to sort of a marketable way where you're able to share how you're going to employ those skills, find a job that works for you, find something that fits your interest. That's huge. 80% huge.
Exactly. Yeah. And in addition to the lessons that you're learning and the homework for a career, you're also provided with one-on-one if you need it. And even once you graduate, you can still have access to the career program. So you can still get hands-on support for your career. You can have people to message, people to ask questions to get help.
That's awesome. So I want to talk to you about your interest, because I feel like so many people here, right? Our mission is to create a safe space for women and non-binary individuals to learn tech and really build their confidence and build that community as well. So a lot of folks do come with that heart for education and social justice. But sometimes it seems hard to see the intersection of how you can use these sort of hard coding skills and sort of the soft skills of, justice and equity. Can you talk to us about your experience, what that means to you, and also what that job might look like for you to be able to sort of marry those two skills and interests?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, my mind's racing with all the different directions and ideas, but I would say for me personally, I am interested in helping nonprofits. I think, again, like nonprofits really do need their media, their social media and their website presence in order to get their efforts out there or to fundraise or whatnot. There's so many different platforms. You can think of GoFundMe. That's a platform that needs software engineers. So I think that in addition, I'm getting inspired here at the hackathon where people are coming up with really great ideas that so many of them are really based around social justice issues. The project I'm working on is to help connect domestic abuse survivors, as well as people who have aged out of foster care to get resources. And so there's a platform that we're creating. And so there you go. Like, there's so many ideas out there. I think technology helps us to connect to people and get information out there. I think it's been so impactful on movements around the world. So there's that. I think there's the actually using your skills for the issues. In addition, there's also say you work in Google, and if I'm a person of color, I'm going to be mindful of the impact that my code has on other people. There's a lot of talk about how AI can be racist, right? There's certain things that you don't even realize the bias that is in these systems, these technological systems. So it's really important that we're represented across the fields, not just in social justice.
Absolutely. One of the first classes I ever took with GDI, and this was years ago, was about bias in machine learning.
Right.
And all the things that we don't even think about in terms of, how we're training individuals to learn or speak, or how we're, training AI to hear things specifically,
Right.
And how that shapes the way that we're all able to access tech and how big that is. Is that something you talk about at TripleTen? Is there conversations around that or sort of training around that?
That's the area of growth. I don't think there is too much of that. That would be great though, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because that's so valuable and so important, just in terms of really developing that sort of, especially if you're at this sort of entryway of tech and doing that.
Right.
That's really interesting. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Yeah. What I can say about TripleTen though is from what I can observe just from being in our Discord channels, we do have a really great diversity of students from all over the world. And I think that TripleTen, by having such a low entry cost, I think they make themselves very accessible to people that
absolutely.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of it too, right? Maybe there is such a sort of wide net of individuals that are coming here because of the net that's being cast, that you do sort of have that diversity already ingrained. Would you say, A lot of boot camps. Okay. Now I'm just going to make sweeping generalizations, which is the opposite of what we were just talking about. But I have found that many boot camps are, really sort of oversaturated with men, and sometimes feeling confident and comfortable in that boot camp space to ask questions or to really sort of like gain any sort of authority can be a challenge. It's kind of why GBI exists, right? We're like the entry level of like, you can do this in the safe space. What is I mean, maybe it's just like a vibe check for TripleTen. What is it like there?
Yeah. I think the culture has just been so great for me in my experience. Something I've personally done is I created a study group for myself to be a part of. And now I've also created another study group for new students. I just recently became a senior student, so I kind of am like a quasi tutor. I help students. And so I was just like, I wanted to create a study group, and it's all femmes, mostly femmes of color. So I think that's something I'm doing. But on top of that, the community managers are the people that they're kind of like our advisors, that people we go to ask for help or ask for clarity on different things. They're also kind and welcoming. And most of them are femmes. So I think there's a big enough presence of women that I don't feel so outnumbered. I'm sure the ratio is still off and it's not a 50-50, but it definitely doesn't feel too dominated like certain tech spaces can definitely feel.
All right, that's awesome. And I think that even just being able to say like, hey, I see this gap and I want to fill it. And then they're like, sure, go ahead. That is really awesome. That just having that sort of space to explore it in that way speaks well of TripleTen and the culture that they're fostering there. So thank you. I would love to get your perspective, obviously making the jump from any career, education, working with students. We have such a wide variety of individuals that come from all over to join tech. And there is sort of a luxury of being able to see someone do it and make money at it, right? Like your partner. If you don't have that in your life, if you're not like, I don't even know what it looks like to work in this space, but I know it's where I want to get. What advice would you have for individuals that maybe don't really see that other side of things, but know it's going to be good, right? The grass is always greener, but I feel like we have proof to be able to back us up there. What advice would you have for folks that aren't quite ready to make the leap into a boot camp?
Yeah. Well, I would say, I mean, there's different channels, but I mean, what's coming to mind for me is Reddit. There's channels on there, and advice, or you could, look up software engineering on Reddit kind of thing. I'm sure there's other groups out there, like on Facebook or maybe on Instagram. That's some advice I'd give, is just kind of the power of social media and connecting people through that. I think there's also like inspiration to be found from YouTube, for example. You could look up people who went through a boot camp or who are maybe self-taught software engineers. I think there's some great inspiration out there as well to kind of give you an idea of how they did it. Yeah.
No, that actually brings up a really good point and a question that I would love for you to sort of answer for us is that a lot of the folks that we've had speaking this week have been people that are self-taught, that were just like, oh, my boss told me to do this, so I figured it out. Or I knew I wanted this to happen, so I Googled it. Like, there are so many people who are like, Google taught me how to code. And that's not for everyone, right? And there's also, what personally, obviously we can't speak for everyone. Personally, why did you choose the boot camp route, and what recommendations do you have for folks that are sort of on the fence about self-taught versus entering a program that could be 10 months long?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I just felt like I had not a touch of coding experience. if I saw code up on my partner's screen, I'd just be like, what is that? Internal parts of the computer, like number and letter vomit. Like, what is happening?
Like when you accidentally click on the back end and you're like, oh my God, get it. I can't go back. How do I get back?
Yeah, exactly. So I felt super daunted by it. I definitely came in with a lot of like imposter syndrome. My favorite subjects are like art, English, and history. So I was just like, I have no STEM background whatsoever.
Yeah.
So I just felt like I want someone to hold my hand through this. I don't want to just YouTube my way through this. And I really highly commend anyone that is self-taught. And it's impressive that we do have the resources out there where we really can do it. But I just know that I wanted live, like for me, my learning process is conversation. Like I want to be able to just like someone explain it to me. Like I want to hear it. I want to see it. Like that's the way I best learn.
Yeah.
And a YouTube video just wasn't going to cut it.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And I would agree with that personally. But you say the classes are asynchronous. So what does that conversation look like?
Right. So it's asynchronous, but then we have office hours. So that's definitely like to me the most impactful part of the program is that we do get access to a live person. We get to ask the question. We get to screen share our code and be like, what do I do here? And they help you. So the tutors are great. They're all super experienced. And there's if you along with office hours, you can also ask questions in Discord channel. And again, they're responding to you, giving you tips or hints. And you're just never left behind. You're never left stuck for too long. If you're stuck, been working on this one piece of code for an hour, I'm going to go ask the tutor. I'm not going to stay there for any longer.
And they're just there and available to help you.
Exactly. Yeah, they have a great response rate. I never have to wait more than a few hours for a response on Discord, and there's several office hours throughout the week. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's got to be so supportive in this journey, because it can be, I think that when you start in tech, you don't even know what you're up against. And so that's a question for you too. Like, what do you think has been the most surprising thing for you in this journey?
I think just that I can do it. I really understand certain things that were completely foreign to me, about 9 months ago. So I think that's been surprising. Like the growth mindset goes a long way. Practice is everything. I tell people I had like a 5-month learning curve before I started being like, I think I get it. So I've been helping new students out more and more. And that's just my advice. Like, just if you feel lost, just keep going. You're going to keep getting lost, but you're still absorbing the information, and you don't even realize it, but it's making sense gradually, and everything just starts to come together a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is such good advice for people that are in it, right? Is there advice that you wish that you had gotten that's different, like before you started?
I think just to not try and memorize things. It's such a huge amount of information in each sprint, and there's 15 of them. So just don't try to memorize things. Just get the gist of it is what I wish I had been told, because it's just so overwhelming, and I would stay on something and just be confused. And I just think it's the process of like kind of understanding, getting a gist, going to the project, and then going back to the theory, going back and being like, wait, we learned about this, let me go back. And I just think that iterative process is what I would suggest to people, because otherwise you're just trying to memorize all these tiny little things, and Google is always right there. You don't have to memorize.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, it seems so accessible, right? TripleTen's just like, we're here, we've got you, we're going to walk you through this. Which I absolutely love. But I still don't think so every sprint is a project. What do those projects look like?
Yeah. So, Yeah, they really do walk you from the very, step zero. They walk you
Yeah,
from the very
yeah.
beginning. They give you everything you need to know. And so like the first projects are, just CSS, just HTML. And then gradually we added in JavaScript, and now we've added in React. And finally, the last section is adding in the back end. So for example, one of the projects, like one of the most recent ones where we started using React and we implemented an API. That one it's called What to Wear, and you're implementing a weather API, and the website suggests clothing based off the weather. So that's just an example of how we implemented these new skills.
And are you working on a team? Are you all working to sort of add to like a hackathon, right? Like in a team where you're adding, or is it like you personally have developed the software for this?
Yeah, so it is individual. The projects are individual. You are given directions, and they're very thorough directions. And you just go through the steps, and that's how you make your project. So it's very like, again, you're not just left off on your own, like figure out how to do that. There's lots of instructions and help along the way. And again, you can access tutors for help throughout the project. So yeah, that's how it works.
So there's 4 programs, right, that TripleTen offers, or 4 boot camps rather.
Right. Yeah. It's software engineering, data science, they changed from data analysis to BIA, business
intelligence
analysis.
Yeah, I'm actually full disclosure, I'm looking at your website, so
I'm
right. Business intelligence analytics.
I'm sorry. I was like, oh, do I have to memorize this?
No, my gosh. No, I was going to say it for you, but then I felt like that was being condescending. So you're absolutely right in that.
Yes.
And then the quality assurance.
QA engineer quality.
Yeah, that is so. And you obviously went software engineer, and they're all different times. It looks like some are 4 months, some are 5 or 8 months. What was the process like for you to get into the software engineering program?
Yeah. So they have a quiz for you, because I was even at the beginning just confused, like what the difference was between everything. And, so they have a quiz based off your interests and what you want to do. And so I was assigned software engineer. And from there, you are reaching out to TripleTen, and they connect you to an advisor. And again, like I said, just by connecting to an advisor kind of had me sold on the program. Just getting to talk to someone on the phone was just like made a difference for me. And then from there, you're entered into basically like a trial example sprint. So it's like your intro sprint. You just get an idea for what the program's like. And then from there, you decide whether or not you want to sign up for the full program. So it's really nice that they do that.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So have you been in any, you said that they offer, sort of that career support, helping you get your resume up and running. Have you had any of their mock interviews?
I haven't used that mock interview yet, no, but I have talked to an advisor, and this was earlier on. So as I'm getting closer to the end, I'll definitely be ramping up my applications. And yeah, like you said, mock interviewing, they do offer that support. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be using that.
Yeah, that's so amazing. And it seems like it's just such like a safe way to get started. I see like that you could just take this quiz even today if you were, starting off and not really sure where to start or where to go. That would be pretty smart. I do want to remind everyone that if you have questions for Michaela, to be dropping them into the chat. We're really excited about this opportunity to continue to learn from you and really sort of understand what TripleTen is all about. So have you started looking, Michaela, at potential jobs?
Yeah, I have. I've been kind of bouncing all around. Like I said, I'm interested in something that aligns with my interests and my morals. So definitely looking mostly in that area. And yeah, just finding, it is a little hard sometimes to find like the actual entry positions where they're like actually entry level. They're like 3 years experience. I'm like, 1 year?
I know.
I think the lesson I've learned and I've heard, especially for femmes that that femmes don't apply to positions that they're not fully, you know, equipped for, versus men do. They just go for it. So that's advice I'm trying to take. Just like, even if I don't meet every single requirement, I'm still gonna apply. And I have actually been accepted to an interview, one that I was like, I'm not actually gonna be able to do this job, but I got accepted. So it just goes to show, like, you get accepted
cool. What's the job?
It was for Mood Me, but I don't know why I thought I could maybe just fake my way into app development, and then I was like, I better not. So that's what happened there.
You're so right, though, because I feel like so many people think that we have to like have every box checked and know everything before we're even gonna put ourselves out there. And I think there's a lot to be said for the surprises you might find when you are actually just dropping your name in a bucket and seeing what comes back. Because at the end of the day, what you're considering, you know, not ready for or not qualified enough for, chances are you're more qualified than the majority of people that they're seeing. And it's really hard to remember that and to feel like that's true when you're in the middle of it.
Right.
So, yeah, I absolutely see that. And we see it all the time too with, that experience and people wanting that experience. But there's so much experience that comes from participating in a boot camp. And then also, I think being able to demonstrate what you have built and accomplished in a hackathon, which I'm so glad that you are participating in our hackathon and that you're part of a group and sort of being able to show what you're going to build at the end of this. That's really awesome. That's really exciting.
Yeah, it's been very empowering to actually be able to see the Figma that the designers made and be like, okay, I know what to do. Like, I got it. I can do it. It's been very affirming for me to be in this hackathon.
Totally. Yeah. It's like studying a language and then going to the country and being like, oh, I can do this.
Exactly.
You know, like you can study it all day, but until you're actually in it and having to apply it and sort of move through something with it, it can feel like, oh, this is fake, or I'm not sure if this is accurate, or
yeah. And like you said, you could wait forever to feel like you're fully ready. So eventually,
I think a lot of people do. I think that's what happens. Is that people just think like, oh, that's not for me. I'm not ready for that yet, and that can feel really scary.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely like a leap of faith. You gotta and something also that felt kind of calmed me down a little bit and feeling nervous about like applying to jobs already that I feel like I'm not fully equipped for. But my partner said, there's always going to be a learning curve whenever you join a company, because each company's code is different. So they expect that you're going to need a month or 2 months to just understand, figure out the documentation, understand what's going on, and then being able to contribute. So I think that's a really great thing to understand as well. And also, TripleTen teaches us a huge host of languages, but there's always more languages. So there's going to be things I come away with that, I don't know Python, I don't know C++, things like that. But what I feel like is that once you get your basics, once you get HTML, CSS, JavaScript, there's so much more that you can learn. And maybe you don't need to go through a full-on boot camp. Maybe those are things I can self-teach, through YouTube.
Absolutely. Like once you have the foundation, it's going to be that much easier to sort of scaffold on that and continue to explore it. So that's actually huge. And I mean, I'm sure as a teacher, right? They always say it takes like 2 years to actually know what you're doing in the classroom. So that that is 100% applicable in this world as well. Yeah. Are there blogs or things that you follow outside of like Reddit or social media that you shared that you feel like have been really helpful to you on your journey?
I mean, I think they're the pretty typical ones, just like Stack. Sorry, what's it called? Stack. I'm blanking.
Oh no, I wish I knew. I can't help you.
Stack Overflow. There you go. Stack Overflow. W3 Schools, MDN. Those are some of like the really good websites out there with like coding questions. And then, I mean, I'll admit I use ChatGPT a lot too.
Yeah.
Right to the point.
Yeah. I mean, it gets you what you need. I'm totally with you. It's very helpful. And we've had that conversation come up in a lot of our discussions this week where people have been like, well, like, what if people are using ChatGPT? And it's like, yeah, duh, like it's helpful. So that's really good. That's really great.
I feel like, go ahead. Sorry, I feel like people think it's like a cop out, or it's just like it's too easy. Like,
yeah.
I should work on my Google skills, but no, really, it's a great resource.
No, it just cuts all of that out. I'm totally with you.
Yeah,
I'm totally with you. So you and everyone at TripleTen have been gracious enough to share a special code that folks can use that are participating in our hackathon to join TripleTen. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so this code is very special. It gives you 60% off the whole program. I don't know the math on that, but that's a really great deal. It's about the best deal you can find out there. So if anyone is looking for a boot camp, I highly suggest taking advantage of this. Like I said, my partner is a 5-year experienced ML AI engineer. So they know what they're doing and they see my program, they see TripleTen, and they're like, it's good. It's good. You're learning the good stuff. They think I'm learning the really good, like hands-on things that are directly applicable in a job. So having their just kind of like their thumbs up about it is giving me a lot of affirmation. So I hope that helps anyone out there that's considering TripleTen. It really is gonna give you a really great foundation of
yeah. Did you say 60%?
60% off. Yep.
Yeah, that's huge. That's amazing. I was like typing that in and I was like, oh gosh, I hope I heard that right. That's amazing.
I wish I could sign up right now.
Yeah.
So great.
They're going to drop out and start over. Yeah. That's amazing. Yeah, we're really, really grateful to TripleTen for sharing that code. We're so grateful to you, Michaela, for sharing your journey with us and for sort of exploring with us what a boot camp might look like, how we can sort of make it fit into our lives, and really what's the path of least resistance here. So I'm really grateful to you. I recommend everybody, check out this code, check out TripleTen. We dropped your website and the FAQ into the chat so that people can check it out. But we're really thrilled to just learn more. And thank you so much for taking time out, especially because we know your team is probably working away and you're like, I gotta get over there.
I made some pushes before I got on.
That's awesome. Oh, we are so grateful. It was really nice to meet you. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we're all on Slack. So if anyone here wants to ask me a personal question or ask me about TripleTen, I'm happy to respond. My DMs are open.
That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much, Michaela.
This is good. I love talking.
Well, you're a great advocate for TripleTen, and so
it's all genuine. I really mean it. I'm really grateful.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Oh, Katie's coming
Thank
back.
you all so much. This wraps up our stage for the day in our workshops. Thanks for rounding that out. It's always so good. We have so many different options as you get into tech. It's really great to hear from somebody who's actually in it, to be like, oh, does this actually work? Or how does this feel like? So thank you for sharing that. And thank you, Katie, for your masterful hosting. We are the chat is very active in Slack. So if anyone wants to head over there, if you're still looking for a team, come check out that Dream Team channel. It looks like there's a new project coming together in there, and they're looking for some really cool bunch of new folks. So if you haven't found a team yet, let's get you on one before the sun goes down, which is pretty soon here in many parts of the country. But anyway, come, don't be shy. Get on a team. Let's get you set up. I am in Slack. We'll help you find a team if you can't find one. And tomorrow, there's nothing on the stage. It is a whole day of working, but we'll be around to help. And the mentors are very active. Thank you so much to our mentors. Feel free to head over to that help channel or just reach out to them. They're really helpful. And happy hacking. We'll see everyone on 12 o'clock East Coast time on Saturday for our presentations.
Woohoo!
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Bye.